let's talk about wanting to go back in time for a minute. I often think about my high school years and my college years and how there was a lot of great things about them. Not so many great things about high school, but more so college. And I sit and I reminisce, but I also think about how great it could have been had I actually soaked up the moment, had I actually lived in it, had I actually not thought about tomorrow so often while in the moment and be in the moment instead. You know, I wish that in high school, let's talk about that first. Let's talk about high school first. I did not like high school. There were some cool things. Even when the glass is half empty, I see it as half full. So I definitely enjoyed some things during high school, but there were my hands being ashy again. I was thinking earlier about how when I was in middle school, I was in the 8th grade. That's the last year of middle school, right? And I was living in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, more specifically, I was living in Marietta, Smyrna. If you ever lived in Atlanta or the surrounding cities, you know that like Smyrna and Marietta kind of overlap in this way where like one street could be Smyrna, the next street could be Marietta. At least that's what I feel like I remember. That's what I experienced. So I was living in that area, like Cumberland Mall area, things of that nature. And I was going to Campbell Middle School. And I was on my way to Campbell High School. Like I went to orientation. I was getting set up and everything. And like a couple weeks, maybe even the week before high school started, before I was about to be a freshman, we moved back to my hometown. And I started high school in my hometown, Omaha, Nebraska. I started high school here. And at the time I was relieved. I was kind of happy because in middle school, I didn't have the greatest experience. Like I didn't really like high school, but I didn't like middle school more. Like I disliked middle school so much more because it's all a transition period. Well, middle school is like the beginning of the transition where you really start to feel out of your body. Your body is growing at a rapid rate. You just, you hit puberty. And for me, I was in foreign territory. Like we had just moved to Atlanta like a few years prior. And so I kind of stuck out like a sore thumb. I wasn't from the South. So I was treated a little different. It's not a sob story or a woe is me story, but it wasn't the best experience at first. I started to find my footing, and kind of as soon as I started to find my footing, we moved back. And I was relieved because I felt like, okay, I'm going back to where like my cousins, my people are, and I know I'll have people to hang with. I'll have some fun. I know I can go to families' houses and spend the night over, my childhood friends, my earlier childhood friends' houses and stuff. And like things will be better. I'll feel better. Because at that time, I didn't know how to articulate it, but I think I was depressed. I didn't have the language for it. I didn't know what depression felt like. Of course, I probably had heard the word before, but I just didn't know what it was. And I felt like that would feel better. Plus, our living circumstances weren't the best. Like my parents work hard. They bust their ass to provide for us, but it just didn't feel good to me. And as a kid, I don't understand the adult stuff, so I just knew it didn't feel good. Anyway, this is getting long-winded, but we moved back, and I was happy to start school here in Omaha. In hindsight, I wish that we had stayed in Atlanta. Or Marietta, I should say. I wish we had stayed in Smyrna, Marietta, because it would have kept me on a consistent path. Like I had finally started to get my footing, and it would allow me to continue to gain my footing and thrive and develop and grow and build longer term friends, childhood friends, high school friends, whatever you want to call it. But as soon as I got my footing, we moved back here, and I ended up going to a high school that has been very prominent in my life, my entire life. Like the high school that's closest to my grandma's house. It's the high school my mom went to, high school one of my uncles went to, the high school another one of my aunts went to. And when my aunt is closer in age with me than like any of my mom's other siblings. She's like the younger one. She's kind of like right in between me and my mom in age. And I remember one day she took me up to school for like bring your siblings or bring family members like kids or something to school day or something like that. And she brought me up to the school for like some after school program, and I just remember the building being so big. So like this school has been in my life since then. And then even when I started running track, the specific track team I ran for, during the cold season, like during conditioning season, we would practice inside of this high school because the way it was built, you could run it like laps. You could run laps around it. So we would practice there all of my childhood. And so I grew up going to this school pretty much, being in this building trillions of times. Funny enough, even when I played football, my football team also practiced at that high school, my childhood football team. But anyway, that high school was very prominent. So I was excited to go to that school. I loved it. I loved North High School so much, bro. Like when I think about my happiest year of my life, like the most recent one is in 2011 when I went to 2012, when I went to North High School my freshman year. It was just newfound freedom, because high school, they're a little more loose. Like, you get to, you switch classes, you kind of get to socialize more. You growing up, you starting to feel a little bit more mature. I was a little bit chubby before that. Like all of middle school, I was pretty chubby, but that summer before high school, I started to slim down. And so by the time freshman year came, I was slim. Like I started growing like a little like peach fuzz. Like you started to see my chin hair, mustache. Like I felt good. I felt better than I had felt for a long time, for some years. And on top of that, I was meeting friends that like I had a friend group, something I hadn't had since like early elementary school, which you elementary school kids, it's not the same. So I had a friend group. It was fun. Like things were fun. The music was great around that time. This is when Take Care dropped. This is when what other music was out at that time? Good Music's album hadn't dropped yet, but My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West, of course. Beyonce's 4 album was out, so like Countdown and Countdown was all over the radio. Dance for You was all over the radio. Like these are the songs that are like the soundtrack of that time for me. And I played Drake's Take Care album into the ground. Anytime I hear Good Ones, and I think Good Ones / Cameras, I don't know if that's the official title, because I used to play the album just straight through without even looking at the songs. Anytime I hear that song, bro, I almost cry, because I remember where I was. Like everything was just so great. I remember waking up early in the morning, and like, you wake up sometimes for school before the sun comes up. So I would see the sun coming up and the sky would be like this orangish, pinkish color through my high school windows. And for some reason in my head, that song is playing in the background. I had these red Crazy 8 Adidas. Like them was my favorite shoes at the time. Things were just chef's kiss. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. But I wish I would have, like, even though I loved at least my freshman year, because after my freshman year, I transferred to another high school, which that high school on paper was better. That high school was bigger and more diverse, and some would say it had a lot more going on, but North was like a family environment. It sounds corny and cliche, but it was like everybody knew each other. Like all of my cousins went there, so I had family there. My brother went there. That was the first time me and my brother had ever been at the same school. My brother who's like a year and a half older than me. Like all throughout our childhood, we went to separate schools. Like we went to separate elementary schools. We went to separate. Well, we were never even in middle school at the same time. But yeah, I finally went to school with my brother. So like getting up and going to school with my brother and kind of like sharing the same day as my brother. Like we wake up, we go to school, we come home. Like, yeah, we had different friends and didn't really see each other at school much, but like that was a pretty cool experience. But I transferred schools, and it kind of, if I'm being honest, I feel like it ruined my high school experience, because if I would have stayed at North, I probably would have had a blast all 4 years. But anyway, I wish I would have stayed, or my parents would have stayed in Atlanta in hindsight, because I would have still, like those friends I made in Campbell Middle School would have carried over, some of them at least, to Campbell High School, and I would have thrived, and I would have done more, and I would have been in a city with more opportunities and a better environment and things of that nature. But that thought, I'm bringing it back around, y'all, stick with me. That thought got me to thinking about how I often think back to time periods of my life and wish I would have soaked them up more, wish I would have been more conscious so that I could make better decisions to make this a great time, or be conscious enough to shift my perspective so that I can see the glass more full than empty at those times. You get what I'm saying? So I said all of that to say, bringing it back around to the main moral of the story, the point of this video. Now that I know this, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that has come to this realization, we have to live now. 4 or 5 years from now, we're going to look back on this couple of years, these couple of years of our lives and be like, dang, remember 2025? Remember 2024? Remember what was going on? Remember, you know, and me saying this right now, your reaction might be like, I don't want to remember these years, they suck. But you probably felt that way in high school. You probably felt that way in college. You know what I'm saying? Like, you probably had this idea that this sucks. I can't wait to just breeze through this and get to like the good parts of life. But you make the good parts of life. The good parts don't just fall upon you. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to make a conscious effort, especially as you get older and become more of an adult. You have to make the conscious effort to see the good in things, to see the silver lining so that you can enjoy your life. I finally understand why they say happiness is a choice. Like, it's a choice to look at the benefits of this time period. You may not be making the money you want. You may not be living in the city you want to live in, but there's something that you can enjoy right now. The journey is literally the joy. The journey is the bulk of it. Our life is a journey. When we reach the destination, it's over with. Like, the journey is done. There's nothing else. Pack it up, go home. The story's over. Why are you rushing to the end of the story? You get what I'm saying? Live in the story. At my aunt's funeral, my great aunt's funeral a few years ago, this lady spoke, and I think that's where this memory is. This lady spoke, and she was saying, on your tombstone, there will be the year you were born, a dash, and then the year you passed away. We're living in that dash right now. You're living in your dash, and what will your dash be filled with? She said something along those lines, right? And that's always stuck with me, because I want, like, it really made me realize that the journey, like the life, the day-to-day things, the moments that we breeze through are the important things, right? So I want to focus more on living in the moment. I want to be able to stop and smell the roses, as they say. Like, the sky is beautiful today, man. The sky is clear. The sun is shining. It's 52 degrees at the end of January. That's not common, especially not here in the Midwest. Like, I got a job. Like I just did a drug screening for a job, and I've been looking for a job for a minute. So that's a blessing. Like, a part of me could look at today and be like, I'm so tired. Like, I'm so tired. I ain't making the money I want to make, X, Y, and Z. But in reality, I just locked in a source of income. You get what I'm saying? I'm out here and it's a beautiful day. I was able to get to the drug screening and take the drug. Like, these things are, yeah, they're small things, but they're not guaranteed. You get what I'm saying? They're not anything that you can't enjoy, that you can't be appreciative of and show gratitude. And I feel like that's an easy way to live in the moment and be happier and choose joy, is be grateful. Like, practicing gratitude. Practicing gratitude. Because the more you move about life like woe is me, and I don't really move like woe is me, and I'm sure not everybody moves like woe is me, this sucks, I'm a victim. But life can be difficult, and it can be a lot. So, like, it's hard not to be like, dang, a slap here, a slap there, bump in the road here, bump in the road there. It can be easy to be like, this shit sucks, another day, gotta go to work, can't find a job, whatever the case may be. But you have to push through those moments. And that's something that I feel like that's a lesson I'm taking from this time period of my life. And I feel like maybe, and I may even be realizing it right now, that's what this time period is for, to show me that, like, I can rush to my goals. I can rush to blow up. I can rush to be successful. But, like, what happens when I get there? I want to be able to enjoy the journey to the success. I want to be able to enjoy the journey to my dream circumstances. I want to be able to enjoy the journey so that when I get them, it's all worth it and I can enjoy them even more. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about with you guys today. I was wondering what I was going to talk about today because I forgot to make a video yesterday, and I intentionally didn't make a video the day before because I honestly didn't feel like it, which is okay too. But I was thinking earlier today, what am I going to make a video about? And then out of nowhere, that dawned on me. It didn't dawn on me. I was actually just thinking about it. And after I was kind of thinking about it, I was like, let me just turn the camera on and talk about it. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it to this point, leave a comment. I appreciate y'all. Subscribe if you have not. Or, you know, stick around, watch a few more videos, see if you want to subscribe, see if you want to stay. You can follow me on my social medias in the description below. And yeah, if you don't know already, if you just popping back up, you've subscribed to me for a minute, I decided that I'm going to take YouTube in a different route. Like I want it to be more organic. Like I wanted to be able to pick up the camera and talk, because I feel like I got away from that for a while. Like I got away from the actual substance of why I'm making videos versus just trying to get a nice looking video up, or, you know, a production up. And I feel like I like this more. Like I like seeing other people be more organic and kind of like run and gun a little bit. So, you know, I feel like that's more my vibe anyway. Like, yeah, I mean, I was a film major. I like a production. I like editing and stuff, but I don't think that's for this period of my life. But thanks for watching.